Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into the delightfully absurd world of the classic animated series, The Tick. It's a universe that is just absolutely packed with invincible buffoons and utterly ridiculous villains. But today, we're peeling back the layers of this cartoon to uncover its most surprisingly competent hero.
Now, if you're familiar with the universe of the Tick, you know it's populated by bumbling, incompetent, and frankly highly destructive figures. So we really have to ask a crucial question here. When almost everyone else in the city is constantly tripping over their own capes and causing way more property damage than they actually prevent, who is actually getting the job done? Section 1. Meet American Maid, the competent foil. Brought to life by the fantastic voice actress Kay Lenz, American Maid is this highly noble anomaly among the city's so-called good guys. In fact, you could argue she essentially anchors the entire series. She appears in more episodes than any other female character, acting as this consistent, reliable backbone of competence in a metropolis that's almost entirely populated by fools. I mean, while everyone else is busy grandstanding for the cameras, she's the one actually out there solving the crimes. Section 2. Parodying the classics. Just look at her character design. It is a brilliant, loving parody that mashes up two very distinct comic book icons. You've got the unabashed, star-spangled patriotism of Captain America slammed right into the fierce warrior princess iconography of Wonder Woman. It's just a perfect visual joke, right? It immediately tells us exactly who she's supposed to be, how seriously she takes herself, and it perfectly sets up the contrast with all the utter nonsense going on around her. Section 3. No powers, no problem. Okay, so here is the absolute wildest, most fascinating detail about her. She possesses absolutely zero superpowers. None. No super strength, no flying, no laser vision, zilch. Yet she absolutely dominates her enemies. How? Well, through pure Olympic-level acrobatics and a truly bizarre, highly unconventional arsenal. We're talking returning stiletto high heels and a boomerang tiara. And, when those remarkably specific weapons aren't quite enough, she effortlessly improvises. She'll literally grab everyday catering supplies, like folding chairs and serving plates, to obliterate anyone foolish enough to stand in her path. And, of course, she brings an incredible amount of energy to the job. You'll often hear her passionately yelling her recurring catchphrase, "You'll never get away with this," followed by seamlessly inserting the exact name of whoever the current villain happens to be. It perfectly captures that classic, earnest, Saturday morning cartoon enthusiasm. It makes her so incredibly endearing while also kind of hilariously highlighting just how formulaic her foes tend to be. Section 4. Allies, bunglers, and romances. So her relationship with the main protagonist, the Tick, and his mop-suited sidekick Arthur goes through such a hilarious evolution. At first, she views them as nothing more than a bungling impediment to her crusade. I mean, they're literally just in her way, messing up her carefully laid plans. But soon enough, she's forced to reluctantly team up with them to take down the supervillain magnate Chairface Chippendale. And over time, that initial sheer annoyance actually fades. She builds genuine trust with the duo, eventually stepping up to proudly fight evil right alongside them. But hey, her life isn't strictly business. Get this. Here's a really surprising piece of lore for you. She actually had a romantic involvement with the highly theatrical and utterly cowardly hero Di Fledermaus. This all happened sometime before the main storyline even kicked off. The fact that the city's most hyper-competent hero used to date its absolute most pathetic coward adds this wonderfully awkward layer of history to their interactions whenever they happen to cross paths on a case. Section 5. The clandestine approach. To truly understand her effectiveness, you really have to contrast her tactical methodology with the Tick's. On one side, you have the Tick's famously blunt, highly destructive, direct approach to evildoers. He's a human hammer who sees every problem as a nail, usually just smashing right through the front door. American Maid, however, vastly prefers a clandestine approach. She favors stealth, intelligence, and strategy over brute force, operating in the shadows where her peers are, frankly, just making a bunch of noise. Her undercover strategy is literally a masterclass in superhero espionage. First, she totally ditches the patriotic spandex and assumes unassuming civilian roles. She specifically chooses covers that are practically invisible to elite, arrogant criminals, like a wandering tourist with a camera or a caterer passing out hors d'oeuvres at an evil gala. By blending completely into the background, she gets intimately close to rival supervillains and their complex schemes, dismantling their operations entirely from the inside before the bad guys even realize what hit them. Section 6. The Secret Identity and Legacy. Because behind that patriotic outfit is Janine Smith. Now, this was a former alias used by American Maid during her time as a part-time operative for the United States government. And this is a huge detail for her character. It proves she isn't just some random vigilante who found a flashy costume in a thrift store and decided to fight crime one day. She actually has deep government ties, professional backing, and top-tier tactical training. And her influence in this universe was so strong that it actually carried right over into other media. It's a fascinating piece of franchise history that American Maid actually laid the foundational groundwork for Captain Liberty, which was a key character in the later live-action version of The Tick. So even though the name changed, her legacy of hyper-competent patriotism lived on, proving that her unique brand of heroism was absolutely essential to the show's DNA. Which brings us to one final thought to leave you with today. If a completely non-superpowered maid, chucking stiletto high heels and catering plates, is by far the most effective operative in this entire city, well, what does that actually say about the usefulness of real superpowers? It really makes you rethink what it takes to be a true hero, doesn't it?